What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and today I want to share the results of my first ever Zwift race. So, I've been Zwifting for the past month and a half, and I finally decided to sign up for my first race. So, if you didn't listen to the last episode, I want to talk a little bit about what Zwift is. Zwift is an app for cycling, running, and training with your community. So Zwift blends kind of the fun of video games with the intensity of serious training, helping you get faster. And here's how it works. You get on your bike, you connect your bike to a smart trainer or any sort of trainer, then you create a Zwift account. You download the Zwift app, and then you start riding through their virtual worlds. And the app connects with the smart trainer to automatically adjust the resistance of your bike as you ride through the world. So I've been doing mostly group rides and just kind of exploring the different worlds that they have. But yesterday I decided to sign up for my first race. And they have different races and events that are running pretty much all day long. Any time of day, you could sign up and join a race. And these races are based on different categories, so you can work out with people of similar fitness levels. And those categories are broken up by watts per kilogram. And watts per kilogram is a metric that looks at what is your max power output in watts divided by your weight in kilograms. So for example, if somebody with a weight or mass of 80 kilograms with a power of 280 watts will have a watts per kilogram of 3.5. So just 280 divided by 80. And once you know your FTP or your watts per kilogram, that's where the categories are set up so that you can train with people who are at similar levels. So category A is for people with 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher. B is for people for 3.2 to 3.9. And C is for 2.5 to 3.1. D is for 2.4 watts per kilogram and below. And I haven't really been riding long enough to really pay close attention to my category. But I think I was in the 2.6 range before. And I just thought, oh, if I'm 2.6, I can probably hang with people who are in the B or C category. So I originally signed up for a race that was in the category B. And so I started my warm up and, I jump into the race. The clock is starting to tick down from 10 seconds to 9, 8, and so on. And then right when it starts, I started to pedal as hard as I possibly could and put my head down and I start pedaling. And probably after 20 seconds, I look up and everybody was gone. They had literally disappeared because they had raced so far ahead of me. And I quickly realized that I was way out of my league. And I realized that it wouldn't really be as fun. So I dropped out of that race. And then I found another race in category C, so a level below, that was starting 10 minutes later. So already I'm kind of 0 for 1 on the first race. So then the category C race. I get started with that category C race. Same thing. The clock counts down. Right when it starts, I start pedaling as hard as I possibly can. And there was a pack of people who took off right away and they kind of pulled away from me. But this time I was in the middle of a pack of riders of maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different people who were all kind of right there with me. And this time it was really fun. It was super motivating, kind of racing back and forth, pulling ahead of one person, having the other person pull ahead of me, kind of going that back and forth. And about halfway through this race, Emily came in with Ellie and she saw how hard I was pedaling and how much I was sweating. And she just goes, "Whoa, you're sweaty." So that kind of shows you how hard I was really going. I was really pushing myself. And after about 45 minutes of riding and going as hard as I possibly could, and averaging 22.4 miles per hour, which is a lot for me. I got 19th place out of 19 people. So that's right. I literally got last place in that race. But even though I got last place, a couple of cool things happened, or a couple things stood out to me. So first of all, I signed up and I finished the race even though I was hanging in the back. And that gave me a sense of accomplishment, just signing up and completing the race. Second, my FTP increased from 191 to 212 just from that race alone. So an FTP is something I talked about in the previous episode, but FTP is a simple way of determining your current cycling performance level. So that stands for functional threshold power, and it's a measure of the best average power output you could sustain for 1 hour in a time trial scenario. So because of that hard level of effort that I put forth in that category C race, my base level of fitness increased from 191 to 212. And, after all of this, after getting crushed in the category B race and then getting last place in the category C race, I can look at this a couple of different ways. The first is, wow, I got last place. I suck at this. I should just give up on it. Or two, I finished the race. I may have gotten last place, but I got better today. I'm better today than I was yesterday. And I think that second mindset and that second way of looking at it is way more powerful. And I think that there's a couple of key lessons here that are relevant for you. So the first is just that power of comparison. So instead of comparing myself to the other riders, it's way better to compare myself to who I was earlier in the day, yesterday, or a month ago. Because when you compare yourself to yourself and who you were at a previous point in time, you focus on your own improvement over time rather than being less than someone else. And if you keep that focus on your own improvement over time, over a long enough period of time, then I guarantee you will improve, and eventually you will get to the point where you're doing well and you're excelling in those races or whatever that is for you. The other thing is my base level of fitness improved because I was surrounded by people that are better than me. I think it's hard for a lot of people to do that because of ego, or because we all want to be the best, or we all want to succeed. But this is how you improve. This is one of the best ways to improve at anything, is just to surround yourself with people who are better than you, people who have more experience than you, people who have just more experience in one specific area. And the way that I look at it is, in that race, out of the 19 people, I think I got a better workout than anybody else in that race because I was pushed outside of my comfort zone and pushed outside of my limits, probably more than they were, because they all did better than I did. And they had a higher level of fitness probably prior to starting that race. So these kind of two things of that power of comparison and trying to be better today than you were yesterday, and then surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, are exactly the way that I improved in swimming and running when I was training for my Ironman. When I was training for my Ironman, I would train with Steve, who is a friend, Todd, who is a coworker. He was a former Division I swimmer. And then Michael, who's another kind of friend and coworker, works in the same building. He was a high school swimmer. And when we would go and do pool workouts between the four of us, I would always get last place. Any workout that we did, 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, I would always get last. But I improved each session, and I kept telling myself that I was getting the best workout out of anybody there because I was being pushed and they weren't getting pushed as much as I was. And I improved each session, and over several weeks and after several months, I was actually able to hang with them during some of these sessions. Maybe not for the whole session, but for certain segments of it, I could hang with them. And it got to the point where in some of my triathlons, in sprint triathlons, I actually had better swim times than they did. So that is just that power of surrounding yourself with people who are better than you. So I want to bring it back to you with those two lessons. When it comes to your endurance goals or any other goal that you have, number one, are you comparing yourself to others? Or are you comparing yourself to who you were a day ago or a month ago? Really think about that. Who are you comparing yourself to? And where should your focus be? And then also with your endurance goals or with any other goal, are you surrounded by people that are better than you? If so, that's great. But if not, who can you connect with that's better than you? Who's somebody that can help you push yourself and level up your game? So that's what I have for you today. I hope that served you, and I hope you all have an amazing day.